I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Naircross. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious, I want your heart, I want to eat his children. I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever.
All right, and we're back. Episode 92. Mo here, 92. Miguel somewhere over there. And I mean, you know what we came to talk about. We came to talk about the sport that we love, the sport that we hate.
You do too many introductions.
Boxing.
92.
Anyway.
Jordan also won the championship in 92.
Yeah, you know what? 92, 93. You know what? We just, I mean, he won a lot of them, okay? So we would be referencing Jordan at least in the next, 5 out of 7 podcasts or something like that. Screw Michael Jordan. Anyway.
Wow. That's actually 4 out of the next 6 because we already covered the first 2. Go on.
All right. Anyway, so there's a big fight this weekend, but before that, we're going to get to, you played that sad music. We've been playing a lot of sad music lately.
I mean,
and I feel like we might have to play some more sad music. Saturday night, Lomachenko defeated Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux retired after the 6th round.
Horrible fight.
Right. So, what are your thoughts?
There are no thoughts. I mean, this fight was fucking so bad. I'm just gonna skip to the end where I started, wanted to ask, if we say if the fight is, would you rewatch this fight or not? This is the fight you put on TV to show someone not to be a boxing fan. This is terrible. This was it was just bad. I mean, because there was just nothing. This fight had nothing because it was just a lot of holding and it was terrible. No action, no real solid punches landed. I mean, it was just a bunch of pity pat shit. It was so bad.
Right, and who are we placing the blame of this on?
Well, Rigo obviously, because I mean he's the one who lost and who didn't come out of his corner, but not really blame.
All right, well, let's talk about
not really blame, but I mean if you're Lomachenko, is like it's time to start moving up because I mean no one at 130 and below can get you, and I mean Rigo wasn't even a 130 fighter. They're like Loma has to start fighting guys at 135 or 140, guys who, even though he might be supremely more talented than them, he still has to respect the fact that they can punch, knock him out, because this is just a joke. I mean, he's just making everybody quit.
Yeah, so and he made everybody quit. And let's see. Look, so this did good ratings, man. 1.7 million viewers.
I mean, it was built up.
It was the second rated fight this year for ESPN. So that's off to a good start for Lomachenko. He's building his, status up a little bit. So let's talk about a little bit about Rigondeaux. Now, are you buying the hand, because it was rumored to be broken, but the Rock Nation Sports promoter said it was a severe contusion of the left hand.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone wouldn't buy that. And then the other thing that really kind of irked me is all these boxing writers and all these Twitter people giving Rigo shit for it was a shit fight and a shit performance, but giving them shit for not continuing with an injury. And it's like, okay, that's nice that Cotto fought like 6 rounds with a torn bicep. That's his choice, but you're not a fighter. You're not in the ring. Like, that's not your decision. It's not your life. It's not your livelihood. It's not your health. Just shut the fuck up. It's really annoying when you hear that criticism. Really, really fucking irks me. And like,
well, I'm gonna call bullshit on this because I don't like you said, there was no action. There were no punches thrown. So I mean, what point?
I actually think I would never do it, but I think I do remember the punch that he threw that hurt his hand. I would never go back and watch the fight again because that would mean I would subject myself to that garbage.
He landed 3 punches. He never landed more than 3 punches in the round. So I
No,
don't.
it
I
was
just
a
don't. I
punch.
don't.
If it's a punch I'm thinking about, he threw kind of like a shovel hook, and it caught Loma on the arm to elbow area, and then right after, like he did like a slight hesitation, and it just looked funny. So I think that was the punch. But whatever the case, I mean, yeah, you get in there and fight, and then criticize somebody for fucking not coming out of the corner. Get out of here.
Well, that's true. It is his choice, and we have to live with the choices that we make. But just in terms of in general, I don't know. His performance was lifeless, and I don't think it was due to the injury. To me, it just didn't seem like he showed up to fight.
I mean, it was just such a
He did a lot of holding. I mean, he did a shit ton of holding.
Lot of
There's no disputing that. He wouldn't really throw it all. And I know people want to bring up he was outweighed and all this stuff, but I mean, I don't really think Lomachenko tried to enforce any physicality in him other than, staying in range.
Other than the Rocky Martinez fight, I mean, other than the Rocky Martinez fight, Loma rarely really opens up to fucking hurt people. I mean, I didn't see anything in that fight where like he could have clearly, right? But I didn't see anything in that fight where Rigo was like fucking getting, his blocks knocked off, and it was, Loma was really pressing him. It was really just, it was fucking sparring session, what it was. So that was the really weird part about him quitting, because it's not like you're getting fucking murdered. Yeah, you're losing every round, but it's just not like you're not getting, you're not getting a CAT scan after this fight. Like shit. That was weird.
Right,
That's
so
what was strange.
That's the deeper thing about this, because why the lack of effort in your biggest fight of your career? I mean, subjectively looking at it. I mean, I guess the Donaire fight was the biggest fight of his career, but why? I mean, I don't get it. It's perplexing to me.
That's for him to answer. Only he knows the answer. The only logical guess, maybe some kind of injury, or maybe I really don't know, because again, we see people get like, outclassed, but while they're getting outclassed, they're also taking the beating of their life. This wasn't one of those situations. He was just getting outclassed, and it was just really weird. I don't know.
That's the thing, though. I didn't really think that's why it was so strange to me, because I mean, Lomachenko was getting the better of him, but he wasn't landing big, powerful flush shots and stuff like that. And I know he was pivoting around him and he kept his hands busy, but I just didn't seem like Rigo didn't engage. And I kind of think on a deeper level,
right,
that I think this was just I don't think Rigo came into this fight to prove anything. I think he just came for the check, to be honest with you, man. I mean,
well,
payday, but I'm pretty sure it was one of his biggest paydays, and it was one of his, the bigger spotlights he could have been under. And I don't know. I just think like this was some underlying, just big fuck you
something
to
else.
The boxing world.
Yeah,
because Rigondeaux, however you want to slice it. I mean, look, he hasn't gotten all the big fights that he's wanted. He hasn't gotten these big paydays. I mean, you could argue if he was blackballed or not, whether that was his fault or not, whether he fights with and yada yada. But I kind of feel like he's just like, he was fed up, and I don't feel like he didn't show up to win. He didn't put in an honest effort, honestly, because I don't think he wanted to give the satisfaction of even having his former promoter's A side, look great against him.
Yeah, because I mean, that's just, I don't know. The takeaway, and also too, Lomachenko has reached Triple G status where I got to start watching his fights on mute. The takeaway from that fight really wasn't, all the blowjobbing that was going on. It was just like, okay, let's see if next time he can actually fight somebody who can punch and, make it a contest. It was such a joke of a fight. I mean, there was just nothing there. There was just nothing.
Right, so and all of that, because I feel like you're placing most of this blame on Lomachenko, which, I mean, obviously
I'm not placing any of the blame on
I don't think
Lomachenko. I'm saying
this is his
his
problem.
promoters need to stop this facade that he's some kind of 130 fighter, 126. He is probably a 140 fighter. Like and I'm not even saying he won't go up there and beat all those guys handily. I'm just saying he needs to be in a ring with someone who he can respect and who has enough power to where he can't just be dancing around all the fucking fight. It's like, because this is a joke.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure he's a locked in, 140 fighter, because I mean Rigondeaux went up 8 pounds and you see the difference. I mean, Chocolatito went up, 3-4 pounds and you see the difference. So I mean, I think you're gonna see. It's possible you can see a different fighter. It might not be as dominant as he could be going up that high in weight. Or I mean, I don't know. I guess we would have to. I guess we would have to see.
Some people would like to see Lomachenko against Terrence Crawford. Some people would like to see that down the line.
That's fight's probably never going to happen because Crawford probably is going to ceiling out at 154 pounds, and I don't see that happening unless there's some like catch weight fight or something like that. Yeah. So with Rigo, I mean, he's 37 years old. People always like to say this is the end, but is this the end?
I don't know. Kind of don't care at this point. I mean, he's I mean, he kind of sealed his own fate. If you're saying that he kind of did this as a nephew to, just kind of cast out, because he can't be on TV anymore. He was barely on TV before, so he definitely is not going to be on TV again. And with his age, for him to climb back to, being a regular on TV primetime type of fighter is definitely not going to happen. So it kind of doesn't matter what the hell he does. If he goes to fight in Japan or wherever.
Pedro Diaz was trying to get him to fight. I mean, he did, he said some things to him in the corner, and I don't know. Rigondeaux just always has this lifeless look to me. I don't know if you get that impression from him. I don't know. It seems like he's I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
it's hard to get a read on this guy. But you do say that this, because to me it seems like anytime a name finally loses, then all of these other fighters come out the woodworks and like, oh, you know what, I'll fight him. So I do kind of think that there is that outside chance.
Yeah, I don't think you got that case with Rigo though, because
could probably think of him to be as an opponent, to try to get that name on their resume. So how many times have we seen a fighter on a comeback fight or get another shot? So I'm not sure if it's necessarily the end, but shit, I mean,
that's more
Walters
the case
did the same thing, and we haven't seen him in a while.
That's more the case though with guys who like are offensive fighters. Like with Rigo, even if he's not at his best, and he's fighting at a relative, somewhere close to his weight, it's still a tough out, and you're still not going to look that great doing it. So I don't know.
So what's next for Lomachenko?
Honestly, just to be brutally honest, they're going to put him against some other guy at 130 who he can destroy and look great against. And they're just going to keep it going on ESPN for as long as they can. That's what's next, in my opinion. Because the other 130 fighters that are good are not on ESPN. They're on HBO. And we talked about a few podcasts ago how HBO, they had to refine themselves because of budget cuts and everything. So they locked in at the middleweight division. They locked the top 5 guys there, or top 6 guys. And then at the lower weights, they're trying to lock those guys in. And to make a nice transition to, I mean, the same night as this disgrace of a fight, they put on, a really good card. And you had Salido and Roman just absolutely go to war, one of the better fights of the year.
Right. So I mean, there's Burchelt is out there. I think that's a possibility. I think Golden Boy would work with Top Rank a little bit. I would like to believe.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
But to me, I think Burchelt is a good style matchup, and I like Linares too.
Linares called out Lomachenko. That would be a fun fight just because Linares might dynamic. Yeah, Lamar. He's not as He's obviously Loma's younger and more athletic, but Linares is a great athlete too, and he has the speed. And Linares can actually punch, and so that would be an interesting fight. I mean, I guess I'd favor Lomachenko to win that, but it'd be a fight that I'd be more interested to watch than whatever they're actually going to put out in 2 months on ESPN and build up like the greatest show on earth. So yeah, that would be a good fight. I'll watch him fight against Linares, and Top Rank and Golden Boy, they worked together this year, right?
I think Burchett has a good style, man. He's got some length. He lets his hands go. I think that would be a fun fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think you have to match Loma athletically first, or somewhat get in his neighborhood to kind of
And then I
slow
think
him down.
the outside bubble, maybe something, not immediately, but because you said eventually like a Crawford, but I think that marquee, maybe mega fight that he'd be looking at is Mikey Garcia sometime down the line.
Unless he's gonna fight Mikey Garcia at 140, I don't think that's gonna happen. But I don't know, we'll see.
Right. Well, I mean, I would think that Lomachenko could go up to 140 probably. I think that's probably where he might max out. All right, this just brings up another topic because we talked about this fight, and I think Rigo actually won in a way because he was more of the story than anything that happened this weekend. But it raises the topic of quitting in boxing. So, like, when do you? I mean, I guess it's their choice because we're not in the ring. But when do you rag on a guy for quitting, or is it just? Is it something that you don't get into? Because I know you've gotten animated for guys quitting before.
Who? Give me an example.
Nicholas Walters.
I didn't get mad at Nicholas Walters for quitting. I got mad at that fight because when they got in the ring,
TV.
When they got in the ring, I saw that Lomachenko was like 3 times his size. I'm like, what's the point of this fight? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. To me,
you never know what injuries or what's going on. So it's like, it's not like a fucking basketball game where you run up and down and shooting jump shots and shit. I mean, guys are in there like, if you're not right, you're going to the hospital.
Hey, you shooting jump shots with broken fingers, man, and sprained ankles. I mean, yeah, tough too.
Yeah, right. It's soft ass NBA players. They get a paper cut. They're out for 2 weeks, man. Come on.
No, but so your thing is just quit whenever you want in boxing. Is that your final stance on things?
That's not my stance. My stance is that there's no way possible for the viewer at home to, unless you're a former fighter or a current fighter, to really know what the hell is going on. Yeah, but we all watch
sports, man. We watch sports. This is what we do. I mean, we talk about sports. I mean,
all right. What if
I'll give you love and not judge it a little bit? Then what's the point?
What if Rigo, he broke his hand, right? And he's not the most. Okay. He's just naturally not someone who's very verbal, like Spanish or English. He's just a quiet guy, right? Who the hell are you to tell him to go in there with a broken hand against pound for pound #1 and #2 fighter in the world? So, like, I don't know. That's where it gets fuzzy for me. It's a case by case thing. There's no one general rule.
Yeah, well, a general rule is if
the only time I'll get on a guy for quitting is when, or not quitting, but like, taking the easy way out, is when there's kind of an accidental cut or something and the ref wants to stop the fight and he knows he's up on the card, so he just kind of uses it to his advantage. That's a little sneaky.
All right. So let me bring this other element up of quitting, because there's different, like you said, there's different ways of quitting, right? So we know that Rigondeaux, he decided he couldn't go. He based it off of an injury. Okay, that's fine. But say if he just straight up said, I quit. What's worse? Is it worse to just retire in the corner and say no more? Or is it worse to kind of like pack it up while you're in the ring and just try to survive?
Of the two, probably, I don't know. See, because I was
thinking about this.
Initially, I would have said of the two, I would rather you just pack it up and go the 12 rounds, right? But I've shifted my boxing viewing now to actually just from a more entertaining standpoint. I don't want it. That's like an extra 25 minutes of crap I got to watch. Like, if you're going to quit, just quit. And then I could just change the channel, get on with my day and watch something else.
And there's this obvious. There's
So you're
another
doing me
way
a
of,
favor.
there's
Yeah.
another way of quitting though. And we saw
Which is-
Chocolatito that's when you just start throwing caution to the wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
there's several ways.
yeah, there's several. Look, we're running out of time, man. There's actually like a fight we got to get to. You going on and on about quitting. Come on.
Now we're talking about quitting, and HBO, they had a nice card on, and a guy with one ear didn't quit, or he tried not to quit. Have you ever? How long could you even stare at the TV when you saw that? I have to bring this up.
I mean,
His
I have
ear
a
was
weak stomach.
flapping like the American
I have a weak
flag.
stomach, but that was just
On a
so
Monday morning.
amazing that I don't know, for some reason it didn't gross me out because it didn't even look real. I was like, this is like a cartoon. This is
Andre
insane.
Ward was like, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, that was insane.
Oh my God. All right, so quickly, Salido and Roman, what do you think? What did you think about the fight?
I mean, Salido. He. I mean, as he does every time. Like, if you're gonna beat him, right, you got to earn it. And there were
Right.
several times where it looked like he was ready to go, but he kind of like stood his ground and really put it back on Roman and made him earn it. And was like, hey, if this is the path you want to go to, like, you can take your majority decision or your 12 rounds UD, but if you really want to knock me out, you're gonna have to earn it. And Roman earned it, man. That was a great fucking fight. I mean, that was just fun to watch.
It was pretty good, but you know what? I don't know if you got this, but I kind of, after the first round, like after a few rounds in the corners, I kind of got the Lethal Weapon feeling from Salido. Like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, but he kept going out there and
he looked very concerned.
He did, but he didn't have any point where his effort reflected that feeling. So he might have felt that way, but he still went out and he still, put on a Salido performance.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, with the, with the whole Rigo theme of this episode, well, at least with Salido, I kind of liked it because I think I knew Salido knew early on that, like, you know what, this might not be my night,
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to make it my night, and he tried to kick it up another level. He tried to pull a Salido, fighting pretty much a mirror image of himself, because this Roman, he wasn't stopping.
Who was just younger. He was just a younger version who's been through less wars as Salido. So he had more in the tank. And it was just...
You knew... Well, I think Roman has like 60 fights too or something like that, though, so...
Yeah, but he don't have 60 Salido fights. He has 60 Roman fights. There's a difference, man.
I kind of felt like... I mean, Salido was in trouble when... Salido's usually the guy that wants to get you on the ropes, but when he was fighting off the back ropes, I'm like, you know what? I don't think this is going to end good. And the other thing about it too is that the shots he went down from. Now I don't know how good I can take the punch, but the shots he went down from, they weren't that great of shots. They were solid shots, but shots I've seen him eat before.
Yeah. Also, HBO, quit cutting away to people's families, man. 2 weeks in a row. Like, look, these guys are going through a rough fight right now. We don't need the constant cutaways, right? You're jinxing it, Come on.
Yeah, that was a pretty good fight. Definitely, it wasn't a fight of the year contender, but it's definitely a fight you would rewatch.
Yeah, that's definitely a rewatchable fight.
Certainly not this other fight we wouldn't want to rewatch, but this one is definitely up in there. So,
all right, let's touch on the fight next week real quick.
I got the controls here. You take it easy here. All right, so we have Saunders, Billy Joe Saunders, and David Lemieux. And do you know what they're fighting for this weekend?
I can guess. Hold on. Hold on. God. Can I have 4 guesses?
All right, go ahead.
It's the WBO. No. IBF. It's the IBF title.
They're fighting for a different title, my friend.
They're not fighting for that title?
Do you want to know what title they're fighting for this Saturday?
What title are they fighting for?
The
lot of-
CACW, the
What the fuck is
Canelo
that?
Alvarez Championship of the World.
Oh, okay. All right. A lot of
Because
long
there's
pauses, man.
recently-
Jesus.
There's recently a LA Times article that came out, and the headline is verbatim: Billy Joe Saunders, David Lemieux winner, has potential to complicate Canelo Golovkin talks.
This not even complicated. This is what Golden Boy wants. They want to put Canelo in there against one of these guys. They'll get another they're assuming he's going to win. He'll get another belt, and in the process, he will age out Triple G one more year. This is exactly what they want.
Okay. And we definitely going to have to table back to that. I mean, what are your thoughts on this fight? There's
two versions of Lemieux. There's
fight.
two versions of Lemieux we always see. We see the Lemieux we saw against Stevens, or the Lemieux you know what? I'll even put this: the Lemieux we saw against Triple G, which is, and I'm not even talking about effectiveness. I'm just talking about effort and always coming forward and stalking and cutting the ring off and just pressure. Because even against Triple G, I mean, there's a reason he looked like that after the fight, because he wouldn't stop coming. And so there's that version of Lemieux. There's the version of Lemieux we saw on the undercard of, was it the Canelo and whose undercard?
One of those
was that?
Golden Boy cards.
Yeah, but it was a pay-per-view undercard where it was like, I mean, it wasn't an uninspired effort.
Smith or something.
Yeah, it wasn't an uninspired effort, but it was just like I'm gonna try to knock this guy out, and if it's not working, I'm not really gonna try too much. I'm just gonna kind of coast. I'm
gonna try to knock him out. We're gonna fight, then I'm gonna gas out because I wasn't really in shape for this fight.
Yeah, so if we see the Curtis Stevens like aggressiveness type of Lemieux, and that's the version, honestly, to even have a watchable fight that he's gonna have to bring, because I mean, Billy Joe, he can get on his bike, man. He can move.
Yeah, he's definitely a boxer. I think to go along with what you're saying, I wrote down, a lot is at stake here. So I think that means you're going to see an in-shape Lemieux, a serious Lemieux, and a Lemieux that's coming like a freaking buzzsaw at you, looking to knock your head off with every single punch. And I mean, he's just going to be throwing 100-mile fastballs over the plate all night long. I mean, that's what I expect from this Lemieux. Plus, it's a home fight for him.
Yes. And Lemieux, after he lost to Triple G, said, when they asked him, his job is to work as hard as he can to get back to the point where he can fight Triple G again. And this might not be for a Triple G fight, but what he meant was to be on that stage again. And this is it. I mean, he wins this fight, and the worst case scenario, is he ends up fighting Danny Jacobs, which is a huge fight. That's the worst case.
So a lot is at stake here for Lemieux.
Yeah, so I mean, because he's Golden Boy, Canelo's Golden Boy. They would love to put, stall out Triple G until September. And he'd make way more than he did. Lemieux would make way more than he did when he fought Triple G to fight Canelo. Yeah, a lot is at stake. So hopefully we see that buzzsaw, because he's gonna have to go find Billy Joe, and he's gonna have to. Yeah, he's just gonna have to find him. That's gonna be the hardest part. So I don't know what the ring size is gonna be, but hopefully it's not a big ring.
Well, look, real boxers have been trying to find Saunders for 2 years now since he's had that belt.
Yeah,
okay,
it's just
look, we know about 99% of the fans feel like this. Just why don't you?
No
like
one is
Billy
rooting
Joe
for Billy Joe. I don't like Billy Joe Saunders because he, and yeah, you know what? I don't dislike him. It's just he took the belt, and when you talk about taking the belts and going and hiding with it or running away with it, right? Literally, I mean, he's not on TV, right? He's he fights overseas and he's not on TV, so it's the double whammy. So
he fought
if you're gonna be bad and if you're gonna give and just go and at least be on TV, at least be on HBO, Showtime, or ESPN. But it's he has no, yeah, Yeah, then you
So-
got to look at his opponents that he's fought since he won that belt from Andy Lee.
And
Like,
I
look
have
at
him.
who he's fought. Yeah,
He
go
fought
for it.
Artur Akavov
Yeah,
and Willie Monroe Jr.
yeah. Those are his two guys he's
That's
fought in
it.
2 years. And also, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, those guys fight once a year. Billy Joe Saunders is not a once a year kind of fighter. Come on, man.
Yeah. So, and it's funny that you say that. So overall consensus for most boxing fans is that this is the take out the trash fight for Lemieux, right? You know, when you take out the trash, sometimes you're tired. You don't really feel like doing it. You know, if you let it sit there, it starts stinking up the house. You know, you try to like shove more trash in before you actually have to go and do it, you know?
No, I mean,
But it
this
has
is
to be
this
done.
is for the good because, all right, let's say Billy Joe wins, right, the fight, right?
Oh, God,
Then
I don't even want to think like that.
okay, but let's say he does, then it legitimizes him. Okay, so then you know, the last 2 years you've kind of made a joke out of the belt, but now like you're a legit champ, you know, and you're on the stage,
Right.
and you know he can be in an HBO fold, right? And he can
Mhm.
now be one of those guys. There's a place? There's Triple G, Canelo, Danny Jacobs, and you know, on there's one more spot for the other guy. It's either gonna be Lemieux or Billy Joe, and then the fifth guy is uh Demetrius, right?
Charlo.
Andre.
Shit. Yeah, well, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean the Charlos are kind of fucked, and that's why they're so mad. Is because like they can't be in
They're
that
on the
mix
outside looking in.
because they're in Showtime. They're on Showtime. So yeah, so this is for that spot. So that's why I'm saying the worst case scenario for the winner is you get a huge fucking fight against Danny Jacobs.
So now,
Like that's the worst case scenario. Or worst case, you fight, you know, you fucking fight Triple G or Canelo, you know, instead. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, even for the
so
loser,
Lemieux
there
said
still might
that,
be a big fight.
Lemieux said that he's gotten letters from English fans begging him to get rid of Saunders.
I would say the reason Saunders ticks people off too is because there's this certain unclassiness where he handles some of his stuff. I mean,
just is he what I mean, is he the worst champion in boxing right now?
no, because I don't have a list
That's
in front
like
of me.
known.
I mean,
Well, no, that's like
no, because
we-
doesn't someone else have one of those heavyweight belts? I don't know who the fuck it is. One of those other guys. Because
yeah, but you
Wilder,
don't know of them. They're not in your realm, though.
yeah, that's true.
Billy Joe's in your realm.
I guess
And then
he'd be the
just
worst.
he's always talking trash on Twitter. I mean, his son, you know,
Punch
kicked Willie Monroe Jr. in the nuts or whatever he did.
Yeah.
He's repeatedly talked trash about Triple G immediately and said that he wants to fight Triple G immediately after Triple G is signed for fights.
Yeah.
So, I
don't
mean,
know.
there's just not much to like about this guy. With that said, I do feel like this is a classic boxer versus puncher type of a fight, you know?
No, this is and I hope people aren't, because when you have these situations where the public really wants to get, you know, a guy to get his comeuppance, right? Like they fail to
Right.
realize that guy's, you know, you may not agree, but you know, he's a world champion for a reason. Like Billy Joe can box. He's not going to go in there and fucking lay down. So Lemieux's going to have to earn it.
Right. And Billy Joe, I mean, I don't think he's ever fought a fighter like David Lemieux, but you know, he fought an explosive, you know, Chris Eubank Jr., who was, you know, a little green, and he fought a power puncher in Andy Lee. So, you know, he has experience against, you know, guys at a certain level, you know, that could present issues. And he knows how to navigate. I mean, he trains with the master boxer, Tyson Fury.
This is a fight too. Yeah, exactly. I would say they have similar styles. This is a fight too, where the longer it goes on, the worse it is for David Lemieux. So Lemieux kind of needs to make his imprint early because he needs to make, you know, Billy Joe feel it within those first few rounds. Definitely. Because the longer this fight goes on, I just feel like that just, yeah, he can definitely stink it out.
I mean,
so
that's going to be the strategy here. I mean, I would be surprised if he came with any thunder and really tried to engage with Lemieux. I just don't think it's wise. I mean, you saw what happened to Curtis Stevens. I mean, one punch can literally turn your lights out. And I mean, is that still the knockout of the year? Is that the best knockout you've seen this year?
For me, it is. Yeah, for me, not just the best knockout. That's one of my favorite fights of the year, just because of the sustained action from like the jump. But
All right. So anyway,
yeah,
this fight. Okay. So this fight, like you said, I mean, I'm glad this is the last, main event for HBO to end the year. I'm glad we have a semi decent fight to watch, but honestly, this fight isn't a good precursor for the fight we really want to see, because let's just think about this logically. Why would Billy Joe Saunders go to, Canada town and take this fight without some type of, agreement that, possibly he can get the Canelo fight next, And why would Golden Boy stack the odds against Billy Joe Saunders and make it a home fight for Lemieux if they didn't plan on giving him the Canelo fight? You see the dilemma we're in here.
Yeah, but I mean, and I told you this already about a month ago. The fact that Triple G and Canelo was such a fucking, like, a huge fight that I know it didn't, some people have their differences on, the action in the fight, but it was a fight that delivered. Like, it was I mean, it played out a little differently than people expected. It wasn't, obviously it always does, when you have a crossover fight that's reaching the mainstream, but it delivered. It was captivating, and it was, it had everything you would want out of a big fight, right? And it did huge numbers. And the fact that within a few weeks after that fight that the rematch wasn't announced, even if you announced that rematch to be in May, after that didn't happen, I knew there was just no way. And I told you too, I was like, there's no way they're going to rematch in May, because you talk about layups. This is the literal layup of making a rematch. You had a fight. It turned out great. Everybody made money. No questions asked. Yeah, just run it back. That's it. Run it back, make another boatload of money, and just, So the fact that it wasn't made, that tells me they said, hey, you know what? We escaped this one. We would have liked to get the screw job win, but we got out of there without a loss. Let's just kind of stall him out, and then we'll see if he wants to fight us in a year. So there you go.
We still have Adelaide Bird in the wings.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
Exactly.
Okay, so all right, what's your prediction for this fight?
I think Lemieux knocks him out. I really do think he knocks him out. I think Lemieux has shown see, that's the weird part, because people will say he'll get shit for, not shit, but he was just he was dominant against Triple G, right?
Right.
But he prepared for that fight in such a way to where he had to be present for Triple G to dominate him that much, because a lot of guys would have quit sooner, but he was just so ready for that moment that even though he was getting destroyed every round in, round out, he was so ready for that moment that he was
for it.
Yeah, he was mentally conditioned. And if I remember, that fight was a stoppage, So
yes.
He knows how to be on that elite level of training and preparation. And especially with the precursor of, the hanging over the fight of this is that the potential huge fight against Canelo. Yeah, he's just going to be, I think this is going to be an A++ effort out of Lemieux. I don't see any way Billy Joe Saunders doesn't touch the canvas at least once. Like, just no. Because Andy Lee hurt him. And Andy Lee, I mean, Andy Lee is a huge puncher, but he's one punch at a time. He's always been that way. And
right.
David Lemieux is a combination puncher. So I don't know how Billy Joe doesn't escape hitting the canvas a few times.
And guess what? Andy Lee was backing up in that fight versus Saunders. Saunders was walking him down a little bit. I rewatched some of it. I don't know why I put myself through that, but I'm going to go along with you. I'm favoring Lemieux, and I think it has to be a stoppage. And for the same reason, when we talked about focus, Lemieux has a lot riding on this fight, and he's a lot more focused. And if you just follow Billy Joe Saunders like online and just social media, he just doesn't seem like a guy that's serious.
No, he does. Well, that could be part of the game plan too, but
yeah, that's true. But
yeah, there's definitely the approaches are definitely different. You're right.
He ain't faced someone with this level of intensity that he's going to face.
No, I don't think
on the road.
Has.
So yeah, I'm going to go with David Lemieux. I'll go 9th round.
All right.
Okay. So we got 1 minute left. I want to hit on a few things. I just need your immediate reaction. Okay. Teddy Atlas is no longer going to be calling the fights live on ESPN. Thoughts?
Probably a good thing, but I don't really like Tim Bradley. He's pretty generic and bland. Next, and he thought that Jeff Horn, whoever the fuck Horn, beat Manny Pacquiao. Next.
Okay. I'll just say that this Top Rank deal, they're getting large viewership now with these ratings coming in, and I think that Teddy Atlas is a little bit too negative about the sport sometimes.
Oh yeah,
And,
this is
so I think
they know what they're doing.
That's in result of that. Okay. Aram says Crawford's moving up to 147 pounds. He will fight Jeff Horn in Las Vegas, first quarter of 2018.
Okay, so I don't know why it's taking that long, but as long as I don't have to pay for it, I mean that's the other belt that we need to get off somebody. So let's do it. Let's get it off.
All right,
let's move on.
So I think this is just Aram doing what he does best. He couldn't get Crawford the Pacquiao fight, so what does he do next? Get him in the fight against the guy that beat Manny Pacquiao, which inadvertently, in a way, helps him stay attached to Pacquiao and build himself up in that that tier of a fighter and of a star.
Aram knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Okay, Salido retires.
Good. He probably should have retired a couple fights ago. Probably a good move.
Yeah, I think he's a warrior. He's been through a lot.
Like, you're not fighting to go to the Hall of Fame, so it's like, come on, go on.
Okay, so the next piece of news is, as of late last night, Salido has unretired and says he will continue to fight.
Okay, all right. See, Salido, see. Well, I will say this: his next fight, which will retire him because he doesn't want to retire himself, will be explosive because. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he might not want to retire, but the ring will retire him. And yeah, I mean,
he doesn't have a style where the ring will retire him gracefully. So
yeah, I don't think there's a happy ending here is what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Yeah.
Last bit of news. There's tons of other stuff, but Kell Brook will return March 3rd at 154 pounds. What do you think?
Yeah, but it's going to be against some English fighter that no one's ever heard of. So it's like, you know what? He's earned it because he's been in 2 brutal fights back to back. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. At 154, like, I look at that division, no one's going to beat Charlo. I'm sorry. So, it's like, and sure as hell, not the guy who, just got walked down by a welterweight, and destroyed is not going to beat Charlo. So.
Some say that welterweight is an actual 154 pounder. Okay,
well, then that's really not a good sign for him then.
Well, I'll say this. I love Kell Brook. I don't mind him getting an easy touch. He's going to a new division. What more do you want? But
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's earned it.
Honestly, given his track record of taking on challenges, I could very well see him taking on Jermell Charlo, taking on Alara or Swift Hurd. They're all on Showtime, and Kell Brook likes big fights. So
2 of those 3 guys would probably not. It will probably not. See, that's why you fight Lara, man, because it's just you take that UD. You take that UD loss, man. You still feel and look good after the fight. You can still talk.
All right, so we will see you guys soon.
Yeah, and then I guess we'll do something for the end of the year, like the top, I don't know, fights. Oh yeah, we'll figure something out.
We're gonna come out. We're gonna get creative. We're gonna get in the lab. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, so let's go Lemieux.
Everybody.
That's what I'm
even
saying.
If you don't believe in God, get on your knees and pray to the God, whatever God you can. Let's get this belt off of Billy Joe. All right.
Let's go Lemieux. See ya.